I am a big believer that good food and healthy food does not have to take a long time. I mean, it's great if you have time to cook a 3-course meal, maybe on a weekend, maybe when you're expecting some friends, but let's face it, on a day-to-day basis, most of us don't have the time to do all that. We need food that is easy to make, easy to have on hand. We don't have time to even cook every day sometimes. So one of my favorite things to keep on hand for the whole week, every week, is quinoa. It's, in my opinion, one of the most perfect foods we have. It's a protein, it's full of amino acids, it's plant-based. So for all of my plant-based eaters out there, this is a perfect thing to have on hand and add to your diet. You may have tried quinoa in the past and think that you don't like it. You might not have had the right version of quinoa. I've heard from some people sometimes, I just don't like quinoa. Well, I'm going to show you today my mother-in-law's recipe. My mother-in-law is from Peru and so is quinoa. So this is a really delicious, amazing recipe. It's very, very easy, super easy. Once you do it once, you can do it in your sleep. And you can make it for the whole week.
So we're going to start out by measuring our quinoa. So I am going to do 2 cups of quinoa, which is what I usually make. Then from here, we're going to rinse the quinoa. Now this is really important when it comes to good tasting quinoa. I really think that some of the time that people are saying they don't like the taste of quinoa, it's because it hasn't been washed or rinsed properly. So just let the water soak a bit. So now after we've let the quinoa soak for a little bit in the water, anywhere from half an hour to an hour, I wouldn't let it soak longer than that or your quinoa will get too soft. So now we are going to pour out the water from the quinoa. We're just going to strain it. So after you've poured out the water that you've soaked the quinoa in, then we are just going to wash it well again. I like to add a little bowl underneath the strainer, and then I find it a little easier to wash it that way, and then you can just strain it again once more. So this might seem like a whole lot of washing, and you might be right, but honestly it really does make a huge difference in the taste. And then we're going to drain the quinoa once more. I find that bowl really helpful. I just let the strainer sit on top of it so that all the water can drain out. I'm just going to chop up 2 cloves of garlic. And I find this is the second component that really makes a huge difference in terms of taste. And so for this next step, you don't have to do it, but it is a nice little extra step. This is a more traditional Peruvian way of doing things. This is the way my mother-in-law does it. So you take this mortar and pestle and you put your chopped garlic in it, and then you're just going to pound the garlic. So you can certainly use other methods. You can crush the garlic with the side of a knife if you prefer. So if you're using a mortar and pestle, you're going to pound the garlic pretty hard. You can maybe get out some aggression this way. And by the end, this is pretty much what it should look like. Now we're going to take our crushed garlic and put it along with some oil directly into the rice cooker, and then make sure to press the on button. And then this is going to lightly saute our garlic. So we're going to put the lid on and just leave it for a few minutes. And then once our garlic is ready, we are going to add our drained quinoa directly to the rice cooker. So we're going to add it into the mixture with the oil and the garlic, and we're going to stir them together. And this is going to infuse the quinoa with that lovely garlic taste. So now we're going to add our water in. So in this case, since I've soaked the quinoa already in water for a little while, I'm going to add a little bit less water. So it's going to be, we have 2 cups of quinoa, and I'm just going to add 3 cups of water. But if I didn't soak the quinoa, then I would be adding 4. So it depends whether or not you soak the quinoa. So now, also very important for taste, we are going to add salt to our water and our quinoa. And so we want to achieve the Goldilocks of salt. You don't want to do too much, you don't want to do too little, you sort of eyeball it.
So I'm just going to try now the water from the quinoa to test how salty it is, if it needs a little more salt or not. A little bit more.
And then after you've adjusted the salt, that's literally all the work you have to do. Just make sure that rice cooker still has the on button pressed on, and then you just let it cook. Depending on your rice cooker, it's probably going to be about half an hour.
So now we are going to check on our quinoa. So it's ready now. It's so easy. You just wait and basically until the rice maker is done. So let's try it. So good. So there you have it. A super easy but delicious recipe for making quinoa that I promise you're going to love. You can do so many things with this. I'm gonna post some dressings that can go well with this on my website. And if you haven't already, you can sign up on my website and download for free my on-the-go, easy, clean eating guide. Wishing you an amazing week, and I will see you soon.
Most men are very hungry when they return home from work.
I'm home. I'm hungry. Is dinner ready?
Yes, darling, almost ready.